My name is Laura Dant, and I'm the PCA Region Focus Coordinator. Welcome to the first quarter 2026 HPDE webinar presented by Mia Walsh, PCA National DE Chair. Also joining us this evening is Chris Lennon, DE Committee Chairperson. Before we get started, I have a few things I would like to cover. This webinar is being recorded for future use for those who cannot attend. And if you have a question, you can submit it via the questions pane towards the top right of your screen. If possible, we'll address these questions on the call. Otherwise, we'll follow up with you later with a resolution. So without further delay, Mia, I'll hand control over to you.
You are really starting to sound like an expert at this, Laura. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this evening. Thank you to Chris Lennon, who will be moderating the chat for me. And let's get started. And I do have to show you, I'm wearing a little dancing bear from Grateful Dead outfit in honor of Bob Weir, who passed away about 3 days ago. So let's get started. As always, thank you to our program sponsor, Pirelli. Pirelli provides funding to my committee to enable us to travel to the different regions to host the National Instructor Training Schools, as well as attend the DEs and make sure that we're meeting all of our best practices and helping our regions become great DE organizers, and the reason that we are the best in the country in the HPDE world. So thank you, Pirelli. I actually bumped into two of our Pirelli contacts at the Women in Motorsports North America conference 3 weeks ago, and that's the photo on the right-hand side of your screen. So that was fun seeing our sponsors in person. Tonight, we have a very quick agenda, actually. I think we'll be done rather soon. A little bit of welcome and announcements. I'm going to give you some updates about the HPDE program, what you've all come for, the minimum standards updates for 2026, a little bit about our 2026 National Instructor Training Program, and letting you give us some feedback for our in-person meeting for my National HPDE Committee that is going to be held in March in Dallas. I'm showing a picture from the Carolinas Region National Instructor Training School from November that I attended. Great turnout and a wonderful group of mentors, candidates, and DE leadership. So a little shout out to my friends in the Carolinas region. I'd first like to say a giant welcome to all of the new HPDE regional leadership. So we're 2 weeks into January, you're 2 weeks into your new roles. I put my email address down at the bottom if you need any help with any questions, anything that you don't know the answer to, anything that you'd like clarification on, please send me an email at hpdechair@pca.org. If someone forwarded you this email because you did not receive my announcement about the webinar, you have to ensure that your president updates your name as a leader in the PCA.org region officials list. So you can go in and look on by yourself on the top right-hand side of the PCA.org home screen. There's a contact, and there's a drop down that goes to region officials. You can sort by region, you can sort by position, and so this is just a little screenshot, and I'm sure it's teeny weeny, but a little screenshot for the driver education chair positions. And so I send my email blast out to zone reps, presidents, DE chairs, chief instructors, also known as chief driving instructors, as well as safety chairs. So if you didn't get that email or any of the emails from me regarding this webinar or any of our updates, then again, please make sure that your president gets your role updated in the PCA national roster. I would also, if they're already gone, I want to say thank you to all of the people that served in the region leadership for the HPDEs in 2025. We've had some changes as well on my national HPDE committee. We welcomed Dan Germain from the Hill Country region as a new national trainer. We are freshly welcoming Kevin Grealish from Pacific Northwest region, who is going to serve as our car control driver skills specialist. Currently, that's going to be run under the HPDE committee, but Kevin has extreme knowledge and experience in the car control driver skill clinic world. His region holds 6 to 10 of them a year. He's been doing it for a long time. He's the one who I always contact when I have questions. So I'm so happy to welcome him to this role on our committee. And I'd like to sadly say a fond farewell to Greg Robertson from the Arizona region. He's been part of the National DE Committee for quite a long time. He's very calm-tempered and has very sage advice for us all the time. He is going to continue on as a medical advisor for us, but is stepping down from his role on the committee. So Greg, thank you so much for all of the great advice that you've given us over these years. And I really do hope to see you in Arizona sometime. Okay, quick little announcement, just a reminder for all of the DE leaders out there to please put your events on PCA.org. You have to have certain credentials within your region to post the events there, but it's free marketing. And I ran a screenshot on the right-hand side that shows a lot of our warmer climate friends that are holding DEs in January. Please take time, because we've got 160,000 PCA members. So when they're looking for events, even if they're traveling to another area, they can search what types of events they want. They can search the radius of the location where they're going to be, and it's really great free advertising for all of your HPDEs that you are putting there. It can link to your registration system. You can provide photographs as well as all kinds of event details in that. So please take some time with your regions and get your events up on the PCA event calendar. I got an email this morning from PCA Golden Gate region, and I had not seen this before. I asked them for approval for me to share it, and they are doing a bulk purchase of track events, proudly known as a HPDE season pass or a track series. So I thought that this was a really creative way to get some income that you know you're going to have. They have their cancellation procedures listed out there, but it's kind of like the ski resorts that are out there who are able to balance their expenditures versus their income, because they know up front how much money is coming in. They're not waiting for every event to come through. So, I mean, I think in Idaho, they haven't had any snow this winter. So those folks that have the season passes out there aren't too happy about it. But I know that their ski resorts are happy that they've got all of these folks that have bought the season passes in advance. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Get creative with your registrations and get creative with the different offerings that you have for your drivers out there. And just wanted to also just give a shout out to Golden Gate for coming, thinking out of the box and putting something different out there. I hadn't seen it before. And if your region's done that before, I didn't know about it, but this was the first time I had seen it. So thank you, Golden Gate. Okay. Just where were we in 2025 versus 2024? This is not a validated number. It's only the amount of insurance requests that have come in for PCA by the regions. And I presented this slide this time last year, comparing 2023 to 2024. We have the 2025 numbers, and it does look like there was a decrease in the number of events that PCA regions held for in-car instruction, an increase, not quite double, but significantly more for driver skills and car control clinics. I find that to be super interesting. I did see that the driver skills clinics did get, my dogs are going to start howling. There's an ambulance driving by. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Oh, okay. We're going to muddle through this one. So with the car control clinics is really a feeder to the DE program. It's a feeder to the autocross program. And I'm wondering if the dip down from, so sorry. Okay. A dip down, hold on for one moment. Well, I'm so sorry about that. A dip down from the driver clinics had made a little bit less of people migrating into the DE program. Perhaps the autocross program got more people, even more people there. So I do like to be transparent about what it's looking like, but now I would like to get a little bit, again, I apologize about the dogs, a little bit of feedback from you. I did a lot of inquiries about programs and about the regions, about different regions and zones and what it was looking like. And the majority of the responses I got was that we got hit big time by tracks raising their prices. So tracks raise their prices. We have to raise our prices for our drivers. So I have a little poll coming out that Laura's going to launch for you. What kind of rate increase did you see in your rental contracts in 2026? To what you've all been waiting for, minimum standards. Not a lot of changes this year. Not a lot of this, everyone in their craziness of, oh no, we've got passing signals now. Oh no, we don't. So we have 3 areas where we made some changes. Nothing's too significant. So let's go through them right now. We have gotten approval to follow the Club Racing's 2015 SA helmet rules. So the SA 2015 helmets have manufacturing dates inside of them. And this is a bad screen photo of a 2015 that was manufactured in August 2017. So even though it's an SA 2015 helmet, it was manufactured in August 2017. So the new minimum standards will say that a helmet is valid 10 years from the year of manufacturer. So in this particular case, this helmet would be valid through December 2027. The written requirements from Club Racing, I'm not going to read it here. It will be in our minimum standard documents, but it talks about this. We also in DE will allow for M helmets. We have the same language that was there last year. So we really only recommend them for the entry-level run groups, but not as people progress through. Those will still be allowed. I'm only specifically talking here about the manufacturing date for the 2015 helmets. I'm going to pause for a minute, Chris, wondering if anybody's thrown in any comments other than Aaron sending me a howling wolf video through my text message. Has anyone had any questions that I need to address at this time?
No questions, Mia. Just a comment from Kevin Hennessy saying about the rate increases that they observed a big increase in 2025, but then flat this year.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Kevin in Ohio. Okay, so what about those 2015 helmets that were actually manufactured in 2015? Well, the rule, which is now, going to be the new minimum standard, that it expires at the end of the 10th year after the year of manufacture. However, for this year of 2015, we already permitted those 2015 helmets through June 30th, 2026. So we will continue to honor that extension. A 2015 helmet, SA 2015 helmet that was manufactured in 2015 will only be valid through June 30th of 2026. I think that's pretty clear. I'm going to move on. This is a reiteration of one of our webinars a few quarters ago. We do not allow ECE helmets. That was a question that I had received through the Google form because they're not legally recognized for use for road use in the US. And so we don't permit them in PCA because there's no date stamp labeling on them at all whatsoever. That is just a clarification for anybody that has questions about the ECE, the Economic Commission for Europe helmets. Okay, here's another little change in the minimum standards that really won't affect that many regions because we don't have a lot of people doing time trials. Unfortunately, DE people, you should really do it. It's fun for the drivers, and I think it's a nice segue for people who are looking to maybe go into club racing to see what club racing is. It is a timed competitive event that can be held within a DE constraint. So previously, the DE minimum standard was that it had to be held at the end of the day. The new standard is it does not need to only occur at the end of the day. So you can be after lunchtime, it could be right before lunchtime. It is required to have its own run group. That's no change from before. And it does require a separate registration from the HPDE registration. So you would have somebody registering for the HPDE and then a second registration for the time trial. Again, that is not a change. The only change is that it can occur at any point in the DE as long as it is its own separate run group. That was a recommendation or a request by the Golden Gate region. So thank you to Golden Gate again. You got 2 shout outs this time for bringing that request to us, which we were able to comply with.
Mia?
Yes.
We do have a question.
Yes.
About helmets. So just a question of, this is from Mitchell Lewis, and says, so helmets are still not required for students participating in driver skills events, is that correct?
Well, there currently are no minimum standards for driver skills events, but we are working on that, and our recommendation will be that helmets are not required for driver skills. Currently, that is up to the individual regions.
Okay, and I have another one for you.
Okay.
From my home and native land in Canada. Do time trials affect the insurance for the DE portion of the event? And the reason, this is from Adam Holland, and he's saying that in Ontario, Canada, cars that have been damaged or written off on the track have been covered by the driver's regular street insurance, but the point of contention is that there's no live timing for the event.
So from an individual person's liability for their insurance, that would have to be taken up individually with their insurance carriers for the individual. From the PCA insurance, the PCA DE insurance covers any time trials that are run at a DE. So I can't comment on individual people's insurance policies, but to me, if non-competitive versus competitive and timed versus not timed, in my opinion, it probably would not be covered if something occurred. But again, you'd have to talk to your carrier about that.
Okay, great. We did also get a question from Robin Dillon here.
Hi, Robin.
In Washington, and but I think you just answered it. She just wanted to make sure that there was no change in PCA insurance to the region, and the answer is no.
Correct. Nope. Your DE insurance will cover the cost. The cost of your DE insurance for the region will cover the time trial. Okay.
Yep, that's it for now, Mia.
Thanks, everybody. Great questions. Really great questions. Okay. We listened to many regions asking why our DOT, Department of Transportation, seat belts for a car that's 20 years old allowed, but a extension of the harnesses for racing harness belts. Why are we not extending them when you've got a 5-year belt versus a 20-year belt? And Tim Thornton from Alabama region really did a great job documenting why we should consider changing the expiration dates for the belts or allowing them to go further. And again, many other regions had come to my committee with that same request. I did present it this past weekend at the National Staff Assembly meeting, and it was not approved by the EC. So unfortunately, that is something that we did request, and it was not approved. So maybe we'll try again next year. Okay, from minimum standards, I wanted to just add one thing for car control and driver skills. We are doing well on pulling together documentation for a turnkey program for regions to have car control and driver skills. We are working on minimum standards as well. I hope to have those soon. March is our goal before really things start get going on the areas that are not Florida or California or Arizona where you have sun. The standards will be set somewhere between a defensive driving class and autocross. They will be non-helmeted. Of course, regions are welcome to have minimum standards more strict than the PCA national standards. So if you have a region and you think, oh, we absolutely want helmets for this event, you're absolutely allowed to do that. We are building in safety items like when you're designing courses, the margin of safety to allow for spins. We are also recommending that this is an in-car instruction program, and when you're designing the course, we really want to take into consideration what the novice drivers kind of errors that they make versus somebody that has a skill set. We are also now moving on to the National Instructor Training Schools and the National Instructor Training Program. We had 15 National Instructor Training Schools in 2025 and added a whopping 175 new PCA national instructors in 2025. And I believe we are about the PCA provide for new instructors coming into the HPDE world, that PCA is providing about 40% of all of the new instructors across the US and Canada. So we really have the biggest piece of the puzzle. And I forgot to put this in the slideshow, but I had Portia Club of Peru say that they had heard about how great our National Instructor Training Program was, and they sent one of their leaders up to the Carolina region HPDE National Instructor Training School so they could get a feel for what we do, and they took back a lot of great information for for their Porsche Club Peru to implement. So I really take that as a giant compliment from my team of instructors, my team of national trainers, and my team that helped build this curriculum and continues to develop and improve upon it. So really proud of that. What are we doing in 2026? Well, as you can see, we have finished the training program to be translated into Spanish, and we are going to be bringing down all of our new documentation to the Puerto Rico National Instructor Training School in February. So very much looking forward to meeting all of our PCA members down in Puerto Rico and rolling out our new National Instructor Training Program in Spanish. Now, my Canadian friends up there, what about French? That's on our goal for 2026. So we have Dan Germain, who's the newest member of my committee, is fluent in Spanish and French. And has taken it upon himself to do the translations of all of our documentation. So we'll be really excited to roll that out for all of our Canadian folks up in the Montreal, Quebec area, and whatever provinces up there would like to have the French trainings program. We have 12 scheduled national instructor training schools already scheduled. Really happy. It's only 2 weeks into January, so my regions are getting used to me hounding them. It's really a lot to plan for 20 national instructor training schools because we've got to maximize the travel of the 5 trainers that I have, and it really helps us knowing in advance at least a general time frame and location of where we're going to be training. So I've got 7 regions still pending with dates in 2026. Well, what if you are on this list? This is where I have all of the confirmed national instructor training schools. You can see how heavily front-loaded we are in the spring. It really, obviously for good reason, everybody wants to get their new instructors trained and ready to go for the driving season. But as you can see, that's a lot to manage for my team. And so that's why we like to have that information as soon as possible. If your region's missing from this list, I have a whole list of folks that I still don't have finalized dates for. But what if you haven't even contacted me about that because you don't even know what a national instructor training school is? Well, now's your time. We have a webinar coming up next Thursday, a week, where are we? 9 days from now. That's called So Your Region Wants to Host a National Instructor Training School. It will be held by myself and 2 of my newest members of my team, Chuck Tucker from oh my gosh, I forgot exactly what region he's in. I know where it is, but I forget the region name, and Dan Germain. Chuck, I'm so sorry. I know I see it in my head, but the words aren't coming out. So Chuck and Dan and I are going to walk you through a number of different things, strategies for identifying candidates and developing them prior to the event. So we really like to have our candidates have some kind of right-hand seat experience before they come to us, if possible. It's not a deal breaker at all. Why mentors? And these are the folks that are really working a one-on-one with the new instructor candidates. Why are they the most important piece of the puzzle? So we're going to get into that. Preparing the mentors and candidates, both of them, in advance of the actual day. Well, 2 years ago, we moved to virtual meetings prior to the event to just get a lot of those questions asked in advance, so that when they hit the ground running the day of the national instructor training, some of these low-hanging questions that they might have had have already been answered in the virtual. We talk about the 6 to 12 month timeline of what regions have to do to prepare for the event. But not only that, in our region handbook, we talk about what PCA National does to work in conjunction with you during the time frame from actually 12 months all the way down to the day of. We talk about what does PCA National bring to the table? Like, what do we do for you? By the way, it's no cost for you to bring my people out and all of my materials. PCA National, from our sponsorship from Pirelli, takes care of that. What does an actual training day look like? We got into that, and then Q&A. So, Chris, are you able to post out the link to registering for that event in the chat somewhere?
I could put it in the chat.
Can they see?
I can do it also, Mia.
Oh,
Okay.
that's even better.
Did
Okay.
I send that to you? Oh, you have it already. Okay. If one of you could send that out just so it's handy. I did send it out in the latest email blast, actually the last 2 or 3 email blasts that went out. So really would like to see any region that's thinking about it, please join us next Thursday.
And Mia?
Yes, sir.
Before you move on, we did also have a question from Adam Holland, again, on just asking if will this year's passing of National Instructor Training still count as a prerequisite for the MSF training equivalent and certification?
It's not a prerequisite. It does count for it. So. Right. If you take the PCA National Instructor Training School this year, it does count as your level 2 MSF certification. You still have to register and pay for it, but you don't have to do anything else because this program has been accredited by the Motorsport Safety Foundation as part of their level 2. Any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, rolling through these. Dallas, Texas. So biennially, my committee gets together in person, and that's every other year, as opposed to biennially. Anyway, so we get together. We're getting together in Dallas, Texas, March 19th to the 21st. We have some set agenda items already, and you can see them there. We are having Joe Marco from HMS Motorsport, which is one of PCA National's sponsors, come talk to us about Schroth belts and what's coming in for changes on different product line items, additions, and changes that are coming in. Just, we really had some questions and wanted to touch and feel and have somebody who's the expert come in and talk to us about it. So I'm excited about that. We will absolutely share all of that information with you in a webinar. We're going to be talking about driver skills, classroom training, and classroom materials, and how we can help the regions so that, you know, they've got material that they don't have to spend a lot of time on. There's some really brilliant classroom decks out there and some amazing classroom trainers out all through the PCA cadre of regions. So we're going to spend some time on helping get that information into your hands. We really want to work on marketing templates for Instagram and Facebook to help you market your individual region events on your social media sites. And we do have some website content that we need to get updated as well. We always spend time on electric vehicles and forecasting and discussions about that. My question is to you all, if you have something that you want the brains in the room, some of us better than others, but if you have topics that you want us to dive into for our national HPDE in-person meeting, please shoot me an email at hpdechair@pca.org. That is all that I have. I know it was going to be a fast one because we didn't have a lot of changes to the minimum standards, but I will final asking Chris, do we have any additional questions before we finish this evening?
Nope, no additional questions, just a comment from from Todd letting you know Chuck Tucker's was Central Indiana.
I had CI, which was in my brain, and I knew it was CI, and I could not remember what it stood for. Thank you, Chuck. Forgive me. I knew. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate that. So listen, everybody, have a great new year. Have a great driving season. Laura, thank you for your time. Chris, thank you for your time. And thank you, everybody. Welcome all of my new leaders if you're out there. And again, I think I have there we go. There is my email address, who I am, HPDE Chair at PCA.org if you need to get in touch with me. Thank you all. Have a great night and Happy New Year.